guys, welcome back to Imagine Cat. It's me, Kaysen, and I'll be assisted today by my tiny chef. So, we are filming in a special place, in the play area. We're hanging out in the kitchen, sorta. Or maybe it's a parking lot. It doesn't matter. We're just hanging out in here for this video because it's kind of kid-centered, and I thought it'd be best for him to have some place to play while we chat. So, so they're not completely distracted by him. He is preparing fruits and eating an orange. So anyhow, on today's video, I've decided that since I am about 6.5 months postpartum, that I'm ready to tell my birth story from having him. I think it's important because I get lots of questions all the time about giving birth, natural birth, labor and delivery, duals, postpartum, maternity care, the whole nine. And I am like a crazy advocate for women feeling empowered to give birth how they see fit for their bodies, their circumstances, just what works for them, and making decisions to make them feel safe. And I know that sometimes, oftentimes, especially here in the Western world, women have very traumatic births when they don't go as planned. So hopefully today I can shine some light on advocating for yourself and the importance, especially as a Black or brown person in this country, and how incredibly important it is to keep you and your baby alive. I can't say enough how important it is that we advocate for ourselves, and that when in doubt, we have people who are on our team, whether that's your spouse, your partner, the other caregiver for the child, a sibling, a cousin, a professional, maybe a doula or a midwife who actually supports you and what you believe and what you'd like for your family. You want someone who can advocate for you, someone who supports what you want, someone who understands it, someone who can help to validate that and to help get your wishes across. Should there be an instance where either you can't, or maybe you don't feel comfortable, or just when you're feeling vulnerable, sometimes, you know, that's how things happen when women are feeling vulnerable in the midst of labor, and they thought like, hey, I'm going to do this whole thing unmedicated, and then those thoughts start to creep in, you start to doubt yourself, and here comes, you know, the nurse or the staff member or whoever who disagrees with you deciding to go natural, or who thinks that it's, you know, who cares that that's your birth plan, and they're like, you sure you don't want this? You sure you don't want that medication? You sure you don't want that epidural? You know, we can give you the laughing gas instead. We can give you this. And it just kind of, if you have that, or maybe you have a parent or a mom or, you know, grandma who's overbearing, and they swear like, I had it with all of my kids, you're gonna need it, you're not capable. That is a message that often gets put across, that like, as women, we're not capable of giving birth without medication, and that's obviously not true. But a lot of the world has been conditioned to believe that an epidural or pain medication is just a part of the birthing process, and while it can be, should you choose that for yourself, it should in fact be a choice whenever possible. So let's take a deep breath, and I will just jump in. So I was due with the baby. His name is Kenai. I was due with Kenai on my birthday. I happened to go into labor 2 days after, like 2 mornings following my birthday. So lucky for him, he gets to have his own day. And I prepared for birth by saying that I wanted a home birth, natural as can be. Like, I'd love to deliver in the birthing pool if possible, but I'm open to the shower, the bed, wherever. I'll deliver in the hallway if that's where we end up, because I'm just totally open to whatever happens as long as we're having baby at home. If we are not, for whatever reason, having baby at home, then the plan is that, you know, we should only transfer in case of what I feel like is an emergency. We did have a midwife on staff for my delivery. She's pretty awesome. We worked with her through the entire pregnancy, planning our home birth, and his dad was on board as well. Sorry, I was distracted by a toy. But we planned all along that we were going to have this home birth. Sorry, I see something. Oh, I was wondering what's in the corner of the screen, and it's this little purple. I'll pull it back. There you go. So anyhow, I prepared for a home birth. We had our birth pool, tons and tons of supplies. I mean, tons. I still have plenty. I could probably just make a video showing you all the birthing supplies, the birthing kit. We had an awesome birthing pool. The Oasis is the one that I chose. It's the same birthing pool from Niazi's birth a year and a half prior. So the boys were due at 18 months apart, almost exactly. They ended up being born a week more than 18 months, 6 days more than 18 months apart, which is pretty exciting because that was a goal and it worked. So I planned, right? We all have a plan, how delivery should work, how we want it to work. I am a firm believer that all in all, while you should have a plan for your birth, the plan should also include contingencies. So you want to be prepared in the sense that you want everything, you plan for the best, you hope for the best, and should things not go as planned, I don't think that you want to feel like everything is awful because it didn't go the way you hoped it would. Instead, I feel like it's beneficial. They're wood toys, you know, we love that Montessori life, so they do make a lot of noise. I think now he's making an avocado or a lime back there. Anyhow, so it is important that, you know, I think for your own peace as the person delivering, that you're considering that even if things don't go ideally, like this magical oasis, calm and complete birth, that it could still be an amazing birth. Like, it can be, even when it doesn't go exactly the way you planned it. But your mindset matters. So moving forward, I start having contractions like just after midnight, and they were okay. Like, I'm rolling with them. Mind you, I was in labor for like record-breaking time with Niazi, so to be fair, not to toot my own horn, but I'm a champ when it comes to managing like contractions and things. Like, I did it for days, literally. And, you know, I made it. So, at first I'm like, okay, it's working for me. And, again, the goal, unmedicated at home, like, as close to a free birth as possible, except we had a midwife. So, free birthing technically off the table. But all good. So, I'm home, you know, everyone's sleeping. It's after midnight. Dad's sleeping. I'm the only one up because the contractions are keeping me awake at this point, and I'm just thinking, all right, you know, gotta stay hydrated. I tried to rest while I could, but that didn't work anymore because the contractions were getting more intense reasonably quickly. So, sorry, my nose is itching. So I went ahead and got up, started trying to like walk through those contractions. I didn't want to disturb anybody else in the house because, you know, it's early. It could be hours or days, right? So I figured I'd just kind of focus on me and baby and just listening to my body, which is important. Listening to your body. Oh my gosh, I can tell you that a million times. Listen to your body. And sometimes you think you don't know, but it's important to like focus enough on you that you can kind of hear yourself say, wait, I'm not sure, or do this, you know, whether that's the positions that you decide to like go into as you're contracting, or the thoughts that you're having about labor or what have you. Just trust yourself. Trust yourself. Educate yourself enough that you feel confident trusting yourself. Hi, honey. So went ahead and kind of labored through it, and about 1:30 in the morning, I had a contraction that like took me to my knees in the hallway. And I was like, oh, all right, we're getting ready. Like something is going to happen today, because it was such an intense contraction. I mean, I kid you not, I went from like slow walking down the hall to like on the floor, like on all fours, like breathing through this contraction. And hello, he's trying to claw up. Oh, I'm sorry. Perfect. Hello, this is Chef Kenai. Hi guys, say hi. Oh, okay, so you like his little chef hat. Anyhow, we after I made it through that contraction, the next, like, I went to stand up, and that next contraction hit less than 60 seconds later, and it was like, oh, I see you. I'm not gonna get a break. Okay. And so I kind of, I started to like question, all right, do I want to call the midwife? I really do like the idea of giving birth like super low key, just me, just us, like at home, not really worried about it. And so I ended up like kind of leaning on the side of the couch, like just breathing through it, kind of like this. And Jay happened to be sitting out there, and he woke up to me like in the middle of like a hard contraction, and kind of asked like, hey, like, it's time, what do we need? Do we need to do the birth pool? Like, what are we ready for? So he, I told him, I'm not sure, like, I kind of want to wait it out, right? Like, you don't want to rush anything, because again, I was in labor for such a long time with Niazi that I didn't want to say, hey guys, let's get ready, and then y'all be sitting around forever, So I was trying to be thoughtful of everyone else, but also considering that these contractions were like intense, and they were intense from the jump. Can you not squeeze me? Thank you. There you go. So I went ahead and reached out to the midwife. I sent her a text message and just said, hey, these contractions are kind of intense. They're coming at that point, every few minutes. And her thing was, hey, are you ready for me to come? Do you want me to come? And I was like, nah, I'll hit you back up in like an hour or something and let you know how I'm feeling. Because again, for me, it was important to value her time and her rest too. It's the middle of the night. Like, girl, go and get some sleep. If I really need you, I'm gonna reach out. So I went ahead, kept laboring through. They slowed down for a little bit, but never went away. They just kind of, the intensity dissipated for a little while. I continued to, my method, I should explain, when a contraction, a wave, any of the, like when that like intense feeling, I know I'm snuggled up here, when those contractions hit, for me, it just like kind of zone in. Like, I am not a loud birther. I don't know, Jay could probably explain it from a now type perspective, but I'm really quiet. Like, I just breathe through, no matter how intense, just breathing. Very few words, very few sounds, like just all up in here. Just focused on like trying to remind myself mentally that there's a reason for everything that I'm feeling physically, right? Just kind of helping my brain to process the pain in a productive manner. I just kind of maybe be talking and pause, like not really talking through contractions. By the time we get partway through the morning, the midwife gets on her way because things are still, they're consistent. So I went ahead and let her know that she could come. we had gotten the birthing pool set up. Jay was running the hose. You know, you gotta have a special hose for, we wanted like safe water, all these things. So we got everything up. He's about to come get you guys. Wow. So he wanted, so he had gotten all that stuff prepped and good to go. So when I was ready, I could get in the tub. I was trying to hold off because, again, referring back to the last birth, when I had Niazi, we spent days in the birthing pool because it was like almost like the place that I could rest but still contract, with just a small bit less effort. I mean, you could feel everything, but I just didn't feel like I had to exert as much when I was in the pool trying to like calm myself or manage my pain. So we went ahead, got everything set up, excuse me, but I didn't get in yet. I'm pretty anti-cervical check when it, in general, there's no reason to be touched like that, like unnecessarily, because dilation does not indicate delivery, and things can change. You know, you could go from a 2 to a 10 in that much time, or, you know, from a 5 to a 7 in 3 days. Like, the spacing and the timing, it varies based on, don't get it, don't go get it, don't go get it. You know, it just varies. Every pregnancy and every birth will be different. So trying to, I don't want to be unnecessarily touched, plain and simple. So I don't tend to care for checks. So once in active labor, I decided, you know, I talked to the midwife about it, and we agreed I was taking showers to help with the contractions and to like kind of relax my body, and it was helping, but I felt weird, and for a while I was kind of distracted by being in labor, if that makes sense. So I was distracted by the fact that I was like, okay, it's time, like this today, something is happening today. And so while managing that thought, like I'm going to have a baby today, I was also managing the idea that like something felt different, and trying to honor the fact that giving birth to this new baby would in fact be different than having Niazi, and that was okay. But trying to find the balance in that space in my mind while processing the contractions, while thinking about, you know, do I want pictures? Who am I going to call? Am I going to call anybody? I don't think I want anybody to know. Oh, wait, you know, my, you know, I do have a couple support people who live really far away, and my dad and my other mom, my bonus mom, and they were great during labor. They were able to be on the phone and at times even on my headset. So I could, when I was in the birthing pool, they could talk to me. Like, even if I wasn't responsive, they could, because I was, you know, kind of breathing through things, I could hear them, like, you got this, babe. Like, you're doing a great job. You're managing these contractions so well. And then while I have them in my ear, at one point there's Jay over here, not literally, but he was on my side, on the side of the pool, holding Niazi. They just kind of sat there, just being close, trying to see what I needed, how I needed it, just to be there. So they all did everything that they felt like they could to support me. The midwife, super amazing with just kind of staying out of the way and just checking in how I need to. Or, hey, let's think about this. I'm watching your contractions, I'm doing this. And then checking on baby's heart rate every so often while in the pool or during contractions to make sure that nothing was changing for the baby. So I'm gonna fast forward so that you guys don't get stuck here with me forever. But basically, after being in labor for about 16 hours, I want to say, I was very focused. And I said, I guess it started about 15 hours when I started to say something. And I was like, something doesn't feel right. And we'd managed contractions. I was dilating. Everything was fine. Baby was like low in my pelvis. But I just felt like something was wrong, okay? So keep in mind, home birth, goal. However, safety, that's my life, safety. We wanted everything to be as safe as possible all the time. So I felt like something was wrong physically, like I could feel something. Mind you, the baby's heart rate is great. My heart rate's fine. There are no signs of anything being wrong. So it's like, all right, case of maybe you're tripping. Maybe. So I have learned to advocate for myself time and time again. The way that I advocate for other people, right? I do a great job standing up for other people. And sometimes when it comes to me, or when it comes to yourself, a lot of people find that you're less in your face about it. But this is my child's life. This is my life, right? So I'm talking to the midwife about it. We're chatting about the fact that I'm like, no, I feel like something's wrong. And she was like, you think so? And I was like, I think so. I can feel it. There's something wrong. And she was like, okay, well, and I said, but I'm hesitant to transfer because the closest hospital, I had already vetted prior to even Niazi's birth. I just said, I'm not really sure that I want to go there because as far as I'm concerned, they don't have a great reputation. And, I won't stand for not being heard. And so even cooler, the joy of having a midwife and being at home, is that, so she called the local hospital, spoke to the provider that was in charge at the time on the unit, and basically said, hey, I've got this, I have a patient who is in labor and she's, it's looking like she might want to transfer. And, we just want to communicate prior to that so that she feels comfortable doing a transfer to your facility. We talked about the fact that, she explained, this is a very well-informed patient. She knows what she wants. She knows what she's talking about. She's not interested in you guys just telling her what's going to happen with her body and her baby. That's not on the table. And mind you, of course, on top of that all, this is the middle of a pandemic. So hospitals got all kinds of extra restrictions and, can dad come? Can dad not come? Can baby brother come? Or can big brother come, who is still nursing at this time, and has never spent a night away from me. So there are all these things to consider. But we talked through it. She spoke to the staff. They were very clear. So when she came back to talk to me after her conversation with the staff, it was, all right, they are prepared to receive you. They have agreed that they will honor whatever it is that you request for your labor and delivery. So she said, I feel confident transferring you to them because I felt like it was a very clean and clear conversation situation. I think we're going to be fine. So I trusted what she said based on all the information she gave me. All the questions I asked them were answered, and we agreed, okay, let's do this because, like I said, something's wrong. I think at this point, and again, Jay can speak better to his own decisions and thought processes, but I'm certain that he was thinking I was just over being in labor and just come get this baby. And I was like, no. So we get to the hospital, we go to check in, and they're playing games, okay? Right? You gotta go to that entrance over there and do this and this and this. Check this out, player. I'm not doing all that, okay? We already called, they're already waiting for us. I just need to go upstairs. So let's not do this because it's a lot. I am actively contracting. I don't have any interest in this right now, and something is wrong, says me. So again, we get upstairs. Finally, another nurse comes down and says, oh my gosh, sorry for the confusion. We figured it all out. I got you covered. She's gonna take me upstairs. We get upstairs and you know, they want to monitor, what have you. And I'm like, let me see the surgeon. You guys need to go ahead and cut me open. So now it appears that I've gone from, hello, wow, what's wrong? Oh, he's sad. Here, there you go. Oh, you're so slimy because you're back there eating. All right, so you guys might just have to have me nurse through this. But anyhow, so, you know, so now it appears that I've gone crazy from having this baby at home naturally to cut me open. However, in my mind, I'm saying there is something wrong. Why? I need you to hear me, right? I need you to hear what I'm telling you when I say, I know my body, something is wrong. So either way, we get upstairs. Finally, the surgeon comes in, and she's, oh, what you got? She's asking questions, and, you know, hey, I heard, you know, somebody said, they thought I was joking. It seemed like, oh, you don't want to have a C-section. They're like, you're managing contractions so well. They're, you know, like, you are doing an amazing job. You're, you know, the way you breathe through them. Like, they're complimenting me about how well I manage pain. And still, the everyday staff, not our everyday staff, so the nursing staff was just like super complimentary. You're doing an amazing job managing. You know, why would you want to have a C-section? I was like, something is wrong. Let's stop wasting time. Take me to the OR, right? Literally, this is me talking to them. I was like, we need to stop wasting time. I need you to take me to the OR. Something is wrong. And they're like, the baby's heart rate's fine. She, you know, this is a surgeon. The baby heart rate's fine. Your heart rate's fine. Everything looks really good. You're sure you don't want to continue to like labor through this, you know, and we'll see what happens. And I was like, I just told you something is wrong. And I'm being calm, but also like very clear. Something's wrong. Take me to the OR. I'm like, what are we waiting on? Let's get this done, okay? Just going to cut me open because something is wrong. And, you know, I'm not at this point worried about like my dream delivery, you know, at home with him. None of that. Cut me open. Something's wrong. So when I, hold on, he's going to bump this. There you go. So when I finally, there we go, so you guys can see him. So she basically runs through a bunch of like, you know, technical paperwork, says, you know what, I hear you. I heard what your midwife said before you transferred. If you feel like a C-section was best for you, then okay. All right, take care of business. She's like, okay, well, I have to explain this to you and this to you. Have you sign these papers, whatever. Sign the papers, get it done, take me to the OR. Something's wrong. Because I know a part of the reason why I chose to have a home birth in the first place is because the infant mortality rate and the like mortality rate for moms who look like me in the United States is atrocious. I wasn't interested in us being a part of those statistics because the providers weren't interested in listening to me, or they didn't think that my pain or whatever I was explaining to them was good enough. Like, you know, I indicated before we went back, and I was like, no, something's wrong. And she's like, well, what do you think is wrong? And I was like, I can't say, like, like, it's hard to pinpoint words for it. So instead, I'm like, there's pain right here that doesn't match my contractions. It doesn't fit the way, like, when these waves come, a contraction comes, and they pass through my body, there's a spot that is feeling a very different pain at the same time that is like radiating through me, and there's something wrong, like right there. I can feel it where it is. Something ain't right. So she was just kind of like, you know, whatever. She said she wanted to get cut open. Like, let's go ahead and get this done, right? I just increased their pay rate for the day, right? So she eventually says, okay, we get the plan. I say, oh, by the way, how long are you trying to keep me here? Because even if you cut me open, I need to leave as soon as possible because I got a baby at home who has never had to spend the night without me. This is like, we're like, you know, maybe 6 or something that evening. We end up, you know, get it all cleared up. She says, if you're making progress after surgery, we'll discharge you at 24 hours. bet. We're in there. I'm with you 24 hours. I'm gonna be ready to go. So we get to the OR, and she had, again, they verified, baby's still doing great. Baby's heart rate's fine, your heart rate's fine, everything looks really good. Jay's all dressed in his scrubs. We're ready to go back, and I'm on a table, and I wanted to watch. They didn't have a clear curtain, so instead I watched overhead. There was like a mirror kind of thing above me, so I could see what they were doing. And also I gave one of the nurses my phone so that she could take pictures during the process, because I want to see everything. And I still requested delayed cord clamping, the whole 9. So I'm watching. She's cutting me open. They're kind of talking through everything. And then all of a sudden, I feel like she's moving a little fast, right? Like, baby's coming out. And, I'm being tugged at, pulled, like, moving around the table. But baby's moving, like, coming out pretty quick. And she, like, pauses and says, she's like, Kason, can you hear me? Yeah. Is there a reason I shouldn't be able to hear you? Right? Like, you're on the other side of a curtain, like a little curtain. You're speaking over it, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I can hear you. And she's like, I'm really glad you listened to your intuition. You're bleeding out, but we're going to stop it. It just kind of got quiet in the room. We're going to stop it. I'm watching him. I'm listening to her, mind you, because I have this little thing overhead. I'm looking in this mirror. Like, I'm watching the reflection of these things. And he's moving and he's making noise. And I'm just, what other choice do I have but to lay there? Jay's at my head. He's at my side. And I think in his own space, just scared. Not because of the bleed part, because I don't even know that he was registering that at the moment, just at the fact that I was being cut open and about to have our baby. So, hi baby, hey Funkin. Sorry, he was too cute to resist. Hi. And so she's gonna make a stop, and then she explains that there was an abruption, like a placental abruption. So my placenta had begun to tear away from the uterine wall, and that had I continued to labor, we both likely would have died. So the blood, because of where the baby was positioned, so they all kind of talked about the fact that, like, even after surgery, explaining that, like, normally there would have been signs like the baby's heart rate changing, or my heart rate changing, accelerating, decelerating. There could have been many signs, but because of the way baby was positioned in the birth canal and where the bleed was, it was as though it was preventing excess amounts of blood from coming out of me, but they were pulling inside and being blocked by him. And they hadn't covered him enough that it caused him distress inside, given he was protected for a little while. So either way, they get to work, but now this, what could have been a pretty quick procedure, baby comes to, baby gets off the table, wipe him off, weigh him, bring him to me, because I want him skin to skin as quickly as possible. And I nursed him on the operating table for more than 40 minutes after he was born. On the operating table, while they were, like, cutting me open, trying to stop the bleed, all of that, I just fed our baby. Like, he just laid on me and nursed and sat with daddy once that was done. And, oh, you going bye-bye? Later! There you go. Daddy got to hold him in the OR. Ooh, careful. You want that? Ooh. Daddy got to hold him in the OR. I got to nurse him, like I said, for like more than 40 minutes. And we just kind of waited until they said everything was okay. They got it all like closed up. Things looked good. I mean, given situation. And she repeated that she was glad that I listened to my intuition because they had no indicators outside of my voice that there was something wrong. But because I listened to my body and my intuition, here we are. Like, here we are. He is amazing. Dude, like, he's incredible. And if I wasn't willing to push harder and to go against what these other people were telling me, there's a chance that he wouldn't be here, that I wouldn't be here. And like, I'm just incredibly grateful that I had the wherewithal, the strength to stand up for myself and for my baby, and to like look past what the goal plan was, to consider that, you know, that the ultimate plan is to deliver a safe and healthy baby, and for me to come home with him, for me to be home with him. And we did that. And that required being thoughtful of myself and of the situation and of, you know, all the things. So, oh, and I did get to get discharged at 24 hours, almost exactly, because I was making progress, moving around, doing any and everything I could. He latched like a champion right away, like I said, on an operating table. I've been going strong ever since. So, I think that about covers it. And yeah, if you have questions or if I skipped something, let me know, because I'm going to post this without editing, unless I add some pictures. I could add pictures. Maybe I'll show you guys what it looked like when he came out of me. Super cool. Maybe that's too graphic for YouTube. I'll find out. And if it's not, I'll make sure Dad understands why. And we'll just throw in pictures like here or here of those first moments so you guys can see what it was like. So thank you for checking out Imagine Cat. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and feel free to share, because yeah, I'm interested in all questions, comments. Let's talk about it. Let's figure out how you can be empowered as you give birth to your babies, or as you assist other people in giving birth, because it matters. It matters that we come home with our babies. It matters that our babies come home with us in every situation possible, that we are... Oh, he's gonna show you guys something. It just matters that we give ourselves the best shot we can, and that means that we're like willing to advocate for ourselves and push for, you know, what we need. And sometimes that means a non-emergent C-section that I forced, that happened to have been a need for an emergency section. Go figure. But it all worked out. So here we are. And here we go. Bye-bye now. Say see you later. Bye-bye.